Okay, so let's now jump back over to our entity and let's play a little more. So we'll X out of that, and then I'm just going to switch this drop down back to custom so I just see our friend travel tracker. There's travel tracker. So we did a relationship. Now let's talk about business rules, because this is one of the most awesome features of all this. And the reason it's so awesome is because, once again, we're going to create this business rule here at the data level. So wherever we're using this data, these business rules still apply, right? Because it's at the data level. So we don't have to go and recreate them or rethink about them in all of our apps. It's here at the data level we're doing it. So on the business rules page, we're going to add a business rule. And so it's going to open us up a new browser tab. And this browser tab is going to give us this great builder. You know, and depending on what you've used in the past, I mean, to me, it's kind of got a Visio feel. It kind of reminds me of SharePoint Designer. Maybe it reminds you of some other tool. But the nice thing is you immediately look at this and you're like, I get this. I understand. And so what you're going to do is it starts us out with a condition, right? Because any good business rule would have a condition. Okay, so then let's click down here on the condition. And so it pre-created a condition because every good business rule has to start with one. And so we can change the display name to say, what do we want to do here? How about we'll have a business rule that says anytime they choose car as a transportation source, they have to enter miles driven. That seems reasonable. So we'll say mileage check. Mileage check, just like that. Okay, and so then we'll scroll down a little bit. So our source is our entity. What field do we want to do this based on? We want to do it based on the transportation field. And when it equals value car, right? This is really awesome to me, right? We just chose the entity that we wanted, or not the entity, the field we wanted, and it went ahead and figured out things and showed us, right? We didn't have to type in car, boat, and plane or any of that stuff. It just knows. So then that looks good. So we'll say apply. And so here you can see it updated. So if transportation equals cars. So then right here, we could add something that is an action we would take if it's not car, which we don't need any actions there. But then we're going to add a component if it does. So we're going to click on components here. And we don't need to do another condition. We could add a recommendation. We could lock or unlock a field. We could show an error message. We could set a field value. We could set a default value. We could set business required or set visibility. So I think in this case, I want to set business required, right? So I want to make miles driven only required if they have chosen they took a car. So I'm going to grab with my mouse and drag it over here. Notice the little pluses that showed up. So, right, so I can put it here, or I could put it down here, but we're going to put it right here. So there we go. And so then what do we want to do? Well, what field? Well, now we want miles driven to be business required. Right? So it's not a required field in our data set, but as soon as they say that they took a car, we are now making miles driven business required. So that's pretty cool. We've got it, we're good. So we're going to say we want to validate. Validation successful, yay. We're going to say save that. And so then now that it's done, we're going to just close out of here. And so then we're going to say, all right, currently creating a new business rule is done. And so then now our business rule has been created in here. Now, you'll notice that I did what I often do, so I want to make sure you saw it. I went through all that effort to make it, but look at the status over here. It's currently deactivated. Oops. So let's click on our new business rule. It's going to open us a new tab again. We're going to go back in here. We're going to say activate. It's going to say, are you sure you want to activate it? Yes, I made a business rule. I want it active, of course. And so then I think we're in good shape there. It's made it active. It's saved everything. Life is grand. So now we'll just close this browser window. We'll go back over here, say, yes, we're done. And boom. Now our business rule is activated. So wherever we use this, whether we use it in a Canvas app, a model-driven app, use it somewhere else, it's not going to matter. Anytime that someone says that the transportation they took was a car, they're going to have to enter miles driven. If they didn't, miles driven is not a required field. Business rules, letting you put business logic on your data. Pretty cool.